What can I say to pharmacy technicians that are currently at school? If you are told by any chance that there are green pastures after school, they are lying to you. Hi, this is Garabo. I'm currently a pharmacy technician that is certified and qualified, but for now, according to the council, we have been classed under the post-basic pharmacist assistance. Now, why did I choose pharmacy? First question, I really chose it because of the hours, and I know this is very crazy. When my aunt suggested a career in pharmacy, she said to me, the hours are like Monday to Friday, and then Friday half day and everything. I think she worked at a clinic or something, because those hours are very correct, but for a clinic or maybe a hospital pharmacy. And recently I realized some hospitals do open up until Saturday, and maybe they do half day on Saturday and they are closed on Sunday. So the shortest answer to why did I choose pharmacy, initially it was simply the hours, of which that was a great error. But trust you me, up until this time, or up until now, I do not regret anything. Coming now to the second question, what was the experience? How was the experience at school? The experience was super awesome. As we had 4 different modules, from the manufacturing side to the retail side and to the clinical medicine side, and etc. So it was super awesome. We had a virtual pharmacy that we ran successfully, and we came number 1 thanks to the team I had with the virtual pharmacy. The pharmaceuticals or the manufacturing side was also good, super awesome. In school, we did things very differently as to how they are done in real world. Actually, we followed strictly every law, and I remember very well one of our lecturers, who is an assessor, she said to us, we will realize that when you get into an employment or a real job, there will be parts whereby corners are cut and everything, simply because there is no much time to focus on those little details and everything. That is very true. That we have experienced. And it was nice at school because you had time to, time after the other, visit your books, go back to your books. Now, when it comes to the pharmacy side, to the real life now, you realize that you have to use whatever you have learned, and what that which you've learned is not so much sufficient. There are things that are important, but I feel they are not of great importance, as in like your pharmacokinetics. You don't get a point whereby you tell a patient about that, but it was actually great learning that at school. Now, when it comes to a patient, I've come to learn the amazing magic the medication does, so much that you learn medication, you get experience, and you master such medications, and you know very well which medication is best suited for what, more especially when it comes to over-the-counter medications, whereby what can I use? Let's go for instance, some pain medication. Maybe someone has just a mild headache, but because they had someone speak of Miprodol or some sort, and they want that, whereas maybe they have some ulcers and everything, and you know now the precautions, you know now the dangers, you know now something they can take that is not habit forming or something like that. Yes. What can I say to pharmacy technicians that are currently at school? if you are told by any chance that there are green pastures after school, they are lying to you. Okay, I'll just expand on that. We as pharmacy technicians are currently suffering. We have no scope, as I've mentioned even before. So it is a little bit difficult to get a traineeship unless you are in Eastern Cape. The future is most definitely bright. You are actually the future. But for now, rest assured, had I known all of this, then I would have worked for the bursary the second year. I actually would have qualified for that. I was qualifying for the bursary with Medirite, but I thought they were ripping us off for working with them for 6 months and earning that 7.2, if I'm not mistaken. That was then in qualifying 2016, or prior to qualifying, when you were doing your traineeship in 2016. I don't know how much they get now, but my advice would be, if you get an opportunity to work with Medirite, just take that as so that you may have security for your traineeship, that is the following year when you complete. After doing that traineeship, then you will have experience again, that is post qualification, that is of 1 year and 6 months. It has actually been difficult for people like I to get employed. The whole 2 years I was low coming with clicks, simply because you have no post experience. You simply come out of tertiary with your qualification. You are certified, yes, that is very good, and then maybe you even do your traineeship with volunteering, because that's what I did in a hospital setup. Yes, you might have the background of Unisolv and everything, but you do not have the retail background, the real retail background as to how Clicks does operate and how Discam operates and everything, and that is slightly disadvantage, or even Medirite. So as soon as, or when you plan to work for such retail groups, my suggestion is get a bursary, get that scholarship, get whatever they might offer in exchange of your year or two, and then after that you'll be employed. Hopefully by the time you come out, you will have a scope and you will be trained. Yes, we were told while still at school that CETA might even fund us and everything, but you get to do your traineeship and you think maybe you can apply for CETA. Then CETA tells you that they do not recognize this as yet. I was speaking to one of the hospital managers regarding a post, and he told me straight that they are not given even yet a go ahead to employ us, as we have no scope of practice. But most definitely, remember, the reason we were introduced was for the mere fact that we are to run clinics and etc. So that is still in the pipeline. The scope has been proposed, the time has closed. So with time, things are going to be good, things are going to be awesome. Just bear and have that in mind. Be realistic. When you come into the field of pharmacy, when you come into the retail side or the hospital, just don't come with the mentality of money, but rather be patient-based, be quality-based, be service-based. Have those qualities, have that desire, and do not let these giants turn you into something you are not. The challenges we have faced. Okay, I'm going to speak about the challenges now in the field we are currently in, and what I've seen, what I've realized, what I've learned. Yes. So when we were at school, we were not dealing with real people who are really difficult, but as soon as you get to a retail pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, or a pharmacy whereby, or the field whereby you must now deal with different people who have different perspectives and different opinions, from your colleagues to your manager. And by the way, I've been fortunate by grace to have the best of all managers or leaders or supervisors or whatever one may call them. And okay, yeah, with colleagues I cannot say much, but I've had a bit of both. Good colleagues, great colleagues, and lazy ones. But now the issue came when it was with patients and with doctors who are either lazy or ignorant, writing scripts simply for the sake of writing, or not being aware of the medications and the effects of most of the medications. But we learn quite a lot, and the experience is now filled with pressure. Yeah, there is great amount of pressure, more especially in pharmacy, and understand this. With a mistake, a patient might die. And most of the time, doctors don't account for such things. It is the pharmacy staff, the people in the field, those ones that are there who are to account for such little errors. For instance, you might have to account actually for giving a patient medication that contains penicillin, whereas the doctor wrote that very same medication, and maybe you didn't ask, or the patient just responded by, the doctor knows my allergies and everything, we spoke about that, whereas the patient is actually allergic to penicillin that you gave, and they died of that. So these are the things we ought to be aware of on a day-to-day basis. What have I learned to master in the pharmacy field? Above everything is covering. Pardon me for my language, but I've mastered to cover my ass in every way. Meaning, I work more on the laws of the council above everything. When it comes to medication, for instance, like your Schedule 2s, that are also Schedule 3s, when you give more tablets of them, I don't compromise. I give the minimum required dose. For instance, when it comes to your diethyl and your cataflem, I would never give more than 9 tablets. The reason behind it being, should anything happen to the patient who insisted on that medication, and it is found that I gave a dose that is for 5 days and they were affected on the 4th day, then I'll have to account for that and I'll really get into trouble. So when it comes to covering my behind, that I've learned and I've mastered. What I would advise myself, the younger me 5 years ago, okay, maybe I would go to school and do straight pharmacy, so that I may not, or I may be able to open a pharmacy of myself, because of my own, because currently it is very expensive to employ a pharmacist and run a pharmacy as a business. And another thing, I would advise myself to learn thoroughly the module clinical pharmaceutics, or whatever that module is, whereby it speaks of conditions. Yeah, I would study that and master it, for most of over-the-counter patients fully depend on that module and nothing else. From every condition that is over-the-counter, should you master that, you are super good. Pharmacy technicians, there at school, it is a sad reality that from pharmaceutics or from pharmacy, from a health-based profession to a business-based, in these terms, we have giants like your Clicks, like your Discam, your Medibytes and everything. They are more business driven and money driven more than they are patient driven. That is an unfortunate truth. For though they are healthcare sectors, they are also businesses, and therefore I feel that business takes priority more than being patient based in this term. When you are to sell medication to a patient, there is those lines that are green, that are red, that you'll be scaled and rated with, and you might find yourself not earning simply because you are not selling that which they want you to sell, or simply because you are not making a sale with every patient. So it becomes now a challenge when you want to be patient based, patient driven rather than business driven. For there are targets we have to reach on a daily basis. There are medications that we are to sell simply because chances are the company of the medication has an agreement with the company, or there's money that is injected in that company by the one that sells the medication. So this is one of the challenges we are actually facing in this field, that the profession has been taken over by businessmen, for they saw an opportunity, and truly the pharmacy sector has money and it has a plenty of it. But now those that are leading not with a patient driven or health driven hearts. Rather, they are driving the boat with a financial perspective. So that is a greater challenge. You'll find having a regional manager of a certain group of pharmacies in the retail sector, not even a pharmacist, but leading pharmacists and leading all those pharmacies. And you would realize that that person doesn't even know the use of Panado, let alone what is in the Allergex. And they will quickly run and attend to complaints for patients who want maybe Schedule 5s, and we refuse to give simply because the script is depleted, and we would time after the other have to deal with such things whereby the legality of the script and etc. So these are the things we are currently facing. It is a war actually between health care professionals and this business men who have actually taken over. Yeah, these are the challenges I actually see. These are the challenges I've realized. This is me speaking. Shalom, shalom.